Good evening. I'm Hellhound, and thank you for watching my Midnight Spook Show here in the Horror Metal channel. And welcome to another exciting edition of Loathsome Lore, episode 20. We're the 20th episode now. How about that? Now, before I begin, I'm going to show off some of my recent acquirements, things that I purchased recently, things that I obtained in the past few weeks. I just want to clarify, I did get quite a few Italian horror movies, ones I didn't already have recently, but I already showed those off in my last two videos, which were my favorite Italian horror directors, my favorite Italian horror movies. So, in order to avoid repetition, check those two videos out for more info on that. I'm not going to show them again. I've already showed them. So, all the recent Italian horror I'm not going to show in this video. See my last two videos for that. And also, I'm going to follow up on my Loathsome Lore 19, which I showed off my Troma and Full Moon collections. Now, I got a few more entries from both production companies recently, and I'm going to show those here. But for more info, to see the rest of my full Troma and Full Moon collections, see Hellhound's Loathsome Lore, episode 19. So, well, with that out of the way, let's go and begin. First things first, I got a lot of horror comics recently. Some Tales from the Crypt, Vault of Horror, House of Mystery, Ghostly Tales from the Haunted House, all that, so many of them. Terror Tales. One of my favorites being Creepy, and I got this magazine. I had to get this one because it's the first issue of like a new line that started in 2009, I believe. And I had another reason I had to get it, aside from the fact that I love Creepy, one of my favorite magazines. I got a lot of trade paperbacks over there. But look at the cover. Where will you hide when the Hellhound comes? Come on, I had to get that. And I want to know, where will you hide when the Hellhound comes? But yeah, alright. Anyway, let's start with VHS Tapes. I got this, The Monster Club, which stars Vincent Price and John Carradine. Pretty cool. And it's hosted by none other than Elvira, the Mistress of the Dark herself. Yeah, I had to get this. Unfortunately, it's not the big box version. Although it might have been at one point. This is a former rental cut box, as you can see. Which, I don't really care much for that. But, whatever. Still pretty cool. I love watching this movie. It's like taking a journey through a haunted funhouse, during Halloween. That's what it feels like when I watch this. So yeah, definitely recommend it. Definitely worth checking out. Also got an X-Rental cut box VHS of Bloody Birthday. Now, I already have this on DVD, and I'm sure many of you are thinking, why the hell would you buy a movie on VHS if you already have it on DVD? Well, I'm a collector. It's what I do. I buy VHS tapes much like I would buy a poster. It's like a decoration. I think it's cooler to have the VHS. Something about horror and VHS tapes, they just go together, at least for me, And yeah, it's nostalgia, just my video store memories. I want to turn my basement into a video store, I want to relive those awesome memories. They're some of the best times of my life, So, I'm glad to have this. I love X-Rentals, I'm not really a big fan of the cut boxes, really, but, yeah, look at that. Video Warehouse. I love it. I love how it has many VHS tapes from as many different video stores as possible. So it's just awesome. Video stores are my favorite places, obviously. And that's why I want to have my own video store down here. And then also, yeah, I did show this off in my last video, so I guess I kind of lied. Gates of Hell, which is also City of the Living Dead, but I figured I'd show it again just for, because I'm not going to show all the ones I got, but I'll show the VHS tapes I got just because I just feel like these two kind of go together. They always had a similar cover. This is City of the Living Dead, and this is Hell of the Living Dead under their original American titles, Gates of Hell and Night of the Zombies. And yeah, I always thought the zombie on the cover looked very similar. Yeah, both Italian, both awesome. This, of course, is directed by Lucio Fulci, one of the best Italian horror directors. See my previous two videos for more info on him. Both movies are worth checking out, especially this one. But yeah, this is actually Hell of the Living Dead, and I love that Vestron video release. It's just awesome. Love me some Vestron video. I need to get a Vestron video t-shirt. Yeah, it's an X-Rental as well, I believe. Used, of course. But, and I love that Creature Features release. I'd love to get the original big box version of this. It might have been either Wizard Video or I'm not really sure who distributed it. It might have been Wizard Video, but I want to get the big box version. Yeah, it's like, how many times have I got to buy this movie? But yeah, both worth checking out. And also another Italian horror movie, Revenge of the Dead, which is nothing like the cover. Very similar to Pet Sematary, which I already talked about in my last couple videos. So yeah, check that out for more info on Revenge of the Dead. Alright, that's it for the VHS tapes. other than that, I think that's about all the tapes I got recently. I haven't really been into VHS too much lately. At least not as much as usual. I mean, I only got 5. That's very little for me. But let's go ahead and follow up with the Troma and Full Moon collections. The only movie from Troma I got that I didn't have at the time when I made Loathsome Lore episode 20 is Sergeant Kabuki Man NYPD. Very funny movie. It kind of differs from the usual Lloyd Kaufman and Michael Hurst productions in that it's not really a horror movie. It's pretty much a straight up comedy. It's really, really funny. It's it's like a fantasy action adventure film. It's really hilarious. And it kind of reminds me of the character kind of reminds me of Jim Carrey, but kind of before Jim Carrey's like mid-90s stuff that he's well known for, The Mask and Dumb and Dumber and Ace Ventura and all that. This was made in 1990, so while Jim Carrey already did have movies like Once Bitten and Earth Girls Are Easy and all that, it was kind of before he really took off and became a big star. So this kind of reminds me of like a Jim Carrey film before Jim Carrey. Very, very funny. It's got the, you got the usual Troma stamp on it, but it's not really overly offensive and in bad taste like most of their other stuff. There's, a little bit of violence and a lot of nudity, but, it's not like, nothing like Toxic Avenger or Class of Nukem High or Terror Firmer or anything like that. But it's really, really funny, and of course the character went on to be in lots of their other productions, so it's worth seeing for that alone at least. But yeah, you gotta be a Troma fan to appreciate movies like this. But this is definitely one of their tamer ones, as I said. Straight up comedy. So yeah, that's the only Troma one that I got recently, and pretty much there's a lot more that I need to get. Surf Nazis Must Die, Troma's War, Splatter University, and several. There's just so many. The list just goes on and on. And as for Full Moon, I did get Killjoy's Psycho Circus, which is the 5th entry in the Killjoy series, and it's pretty good. It's really funny. The first 2 were like tried to be horror. They tried to be straight up horror, but they're just too stupid to really enjoy it. But the 3, 4, and 5, this one, are straight up comedy, and they're really, really funny, and just it's really fun to watch. They're bad, and they're stupid as hell, but they're entertaining nonetheless. I really like the Killjoy character. I think he's a blast to watch, especially when he's played by Trent Haga. So yeah, glad to have him in my collection. Now I have all 5 of them, so more info on that, see Loathsome Lore 19. And then there's other Full Moon classics that I should have already had, but didn't for whatever reason. Pit and the Pendulum. Not as good as the original with Vincent Price and directed by Roger Corman, but this one was done by Charles Band and Stuart Gordon and stars Lance Henriksen, so it definitely comes pretty close. I like it a lot. It's obviously my second favorite version of the Edgar Allan Poe story, and definitely worth checking out. I think it's some of Full Moon's best work, and it's taken very seriously too. It's very grounded and pretty brutal, kind of a little shocking, more than you'd suspect anyway. Yeah, I'd say it's some of their best work up there with Castle Freak. So yeah, definitely worth checking out. Pit and the Pendulum. And then of course Dr. Mordred, which is directed by Charles Band, and stars Jeffrey Combs, Reanimator himself, or Herbert West. He was also in this movie in kind of a brief role. But this movie, he's the star again, which is always good. He's my second favorite actor, probably, next to Bruce Campbell. And yeah, a very fun movie. And originally it was supposed to be an adaptation of the Doctor Strange comic, so this is kind of like, in a way, this is kind of the first adaptation of Doctor Strange. It's not as close as the more recent Doctor Strange with Benedict Cumberbatch, but I think this would have been cool if it was an official Doctor Strange adaptation. I really like it. Much lower budget, of course, but I really love the end with the skeletal dinosaurs in the museum duking it out. Prehistoric creatures, I mean, because one of them was a T-Rex, and there was like a woolly mammoth. But yeah, definitely check it out, Dr. Mordred. One of their, not really a horror movie per se, more fantasy adventure, but I'd say it's definitely worth watching. Definitely worth checking out. And then of course there's Bad Channels, which is part of the, bear with me now, this is part of the Demonic Toys, Dollman, Puppet Master, and Hideous cinematic universe. That's right, you heard me. Cinematic universe. Oh man. For more info on that, just look it up. Maybe I shouldn't go into details. Basically, every sequel to Demonic Toys is a crossover, and Dollman versus Demonic Toys was a crossover between Demonic Toys, Dollman, and Bad Channels, which is aliens at a radio station shrinking women using radio waves to make people their slaves. Really goofy looking aliens. But it's a lot of fun. It's definitely not one of Full Moon's better movies, but it's a lot of fun. It kind of reminds me of Terror Vision, but it's not quite as good as that one, which was done by Empire Pictures, which Full Moon basically rose from the ashes of it. It was basically a proto-Full Moon. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's pretty interesting. I think it's funny that Dollman versus Demonic Toys is pretty much a direct sequel to this because Nurse Ginger in that movie, who's really tiny, she's the same size as Dollman. Her character actually was turned back into full size. She became a full size human at the end of this, and it was the other chick, Cookie, I think her name. I think it was Cookie. One of them stayed small. She stayed shrunken. So yeah, continuity error there, but who cares? It's a cinematic universe, guys. Yeah. Demonic Toys, Dollman, Puppet Master Hideous, bad channels, cinematic universe. Before Marvel did it. Oh my gosh. Give me a break. But then also got Night of the Living Dead 3D. Yeah, it was $5. You know, why not? Sid Haig's fun to watch. It's not very good, but Sid Haig's always fun. He's always a blast to watch. It is in 3D, and it comes with 3D glasses, so it was $5. I couldn't pass it up. Again, not very good, but I'm still glad I have it in my collection. But let's not spend any more time on it. Let's go and move on. Then we have The House That Dripped Blood with Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing. How can you go wrong? Short answer, you can't. And it was written by Robert Bloch. You know, the guy who wrote Psycho, wrote the Psycho novel. Yeah, that's right. Alfred Hitchcock didn't actually create Psycho or the Norman Bates character. He adapted it from a novel by Robert Bloch, who wrote this. Hitchcock definitely made it his own, though. But yeah, House that Dripped Blood. I recommend this movie. Very good. Of course, with Lee and Cushing, you can't go wrong because they're just awesome. That poster kind of reminds me of the cover art to The Night Evelyn Came Out of the Grave. That's another good Italian movie that I forgot to mention in my honorable mentions in my top 20 Italian horror movies video. But oh well. All right, well, that's it for the VHS tapes and Blu-ray. VHS tapes and DVDs, sorry. Now let's get to the Blu-rays. I already showed off my New York Ripper Blu-ray that I got in the mail recently in my last video. So I already talked about that. But the other two I got, Blood Rage, which is one of the only horror movies I can think of that takes place during Thanksgiving. So we've got Halloween for Halloween, Black Christmas for Christmas, or Silent Night, Deadly Night, and Blood Rage for Thanksgiving. Bloody Valentine for Valentine's Day, Leprechaun for St. Patrick's Day, Uncle Sam for Independence Day, I don't know. Blood Rage for Thanksgiving, yeah. Good movie. And also The Mutilator, another good slasher film. Both of these were done by, released by Arrow Video, and they're the only two Arrow Video Blu-rays that I currently own. They do the same thing that Scream Factory did. They go all out on their special features, and they even include the original artwork in the booklet, so you can reverse it if you want. So if I wanted, I could put this as the artwork. I actually prefer that poster better than this one, so I probably will reverse it. Yeah, Blood Rage. Very happy to have this in my collection. It's one that I've wanted for a long time. I love the opening scene with the drive-in. You know, pretty good, pretty gritty 80s slasher. The pretty cool story, you know, about the twin brothers. It's pretty gruesome, so I recommend you check it out. Review for Blood Rage coming soon. And then The Mutilator, like I said, another Arrow Video release. This is even better, probably, than Blood Rage. I think this is probably a better movie. And it's definitely worth checking out. Again, another reversible cover. It used to be called Fall Break. So you can actually reverse, you can actually flip the insert, and it could be Fall Break, once again, with a totally different artwork. So that's pretty cool, you know. You don't see too many releases that have that. I think the Scream Factory is going to be doing one with Cheerleader Camp, and the reverse is going to be Bloody Pom Poms, the original title. Or somebody told me that anyway. I don't know. I don't know how true that is. But yeah, Mutilator. Definitely check it out. I definitely recommend these two. And I recommend Arrow Video. I don't like them quite as much as Scream Factory, but they're up there. Hi guys, well, I think that about does it for my recent purchases. I've actually got a few more coming. I ordered I Drink Your Blood, which is a movie I saw years and years and years ago, and I've been wanting to own it ever since, and now I finally got it coming. And also The Corpse Grinders, which came out in 1971. It's not really, really good, but it's got its moments. And I think Troma did the sequels, Corpse Grinders 2 and 3, or at least the third film. I don't know. I don't really know much about the sequels. I never saw them. Yeah, it's a cinema classic, you know, cult cinema. So, you know, Gotta have that, right? Alright, well, that about does it. I'm Hellhound. Thank you for watching my Midnight Spook Show here on the Horror Metal channel. This has been Loathsome Lore, episode 20. Stay tuned for more. Alright, guys. See ya.